Previously on Breaking Bomo.
16 and a half. Here you go, guys. 16 and a half inch. Wow, he hit that right on the surface, dude. There we go, guys. Not a monster smallmouth, but a pretty looking fish, guys. Chunky little guy. You know, hook me, I knew it. Ah, damn it. Mother. Well, got me. Stop recording. All right, so we are here. We're at the beginning of our day. It took us about 25 minutes to get across this lake, just to give you an idea of how big this is. I pedal about 3 miles an hour. So I timed it for two reasons. One, I want to know how long it takes, but also it's significant because I'm going to be fishing a tournament here in about 3 weeks, and I want to know if it's worth the time gamble to come over here. So if there is fish, I do find some type of activity over here, I will know for sure whether it's worth the gamble. We're going to start things out with reaction. I like to start subtle, so we're going to be using a Bandit square bill, little size, probably 1.5 equivalent of other brands. We're going to use a lipless, but it's a silent lipless. We're going to run a paddle tail, possibly a jerk bait. We're just going to kind of work our way along the shoreline and see if we can find a shallow bite and see what the shoreline composition is. I'm going to be doing a little bit of graphing, mark some waypoints if I see anything significant. What I did notice on the way out here, and that's why I'm starting with the square bill, is that there was a lot of fish suspended in about 4 to 6 feet. I noticed there was a lot of marks in that area. Now, were those bass? I'm no genius when it comes to electronics. I use very basic electronics, but they very well could be smallmouth, largemouth hanging out in the shallows. They could also be trout. Who knows? I don't think they'd be that shallow, but still. Overall, it gave me a clue that those fish are not right up tight to the bank. They may be a little bit further back. I'm not seeing a lot of stuff over here in the shallows, so we're probably going to pull out a little bit deeper, cast to the bank, reel into the deep, and see if that works. If that does not work, I'm actually going to come back down the shoreline with finesse. So the first pass, I'm really going to just work reaction all the way down and then come back and work the finesse baits. I do not think there's going to be a major finesse bite today. The water temp has dropped already 4 degrees today since the last time I was here, which was only a couple of days ago. And also it is super slick calm, and I just think that I'm going to need to draw those fish from a further distance. They're probably not going to be just sitting under overhead structure right now. Maybe later in the day they will. So like I said, we're going to start with a square bill, a lipless, jerk bait, and probably a paddle tail. Try to get the reaction bite going and really just dial in this area. And then if that doesn't work, we're going to go back to finesse. Guys, check this fish out. Right there, that's got to be at least a 20-inch bass, guys. It is a 19 and a 1/4 inch bass. What do you think, guys? Think that's the right fish? That is exactly what we're looking for. I'm gonna get her back in. She's a little lethargic, so I'm gonna let her kind of get some breathing going on. And she's gone. Yes! Oh, that one. Ooh, that feels pretty good too. Not a bad fish, not a monster, but definitely a decent one. Another small size square bill. Alright guys, so little guy, but still another square bill fish. We're gonna say he very well might be scoreable in a tournament. Let's see. He would be 14 and a half. We'll say 14 and a 1/4 conservatively. Nice fish. 2 fish early on 2 different small size square bills. Now, these are very, unfortunately, custom ones. Their baits, I have no idea what model. I have no idea what color pattern. They're ones that I had bought a long time ago and mostly got them because of their profile. But that right there is a perch pattern square bill. Has a little knocker in it, but it's for the most part a silent. And I'm wondering if the silence is the key or the profile. So that's another thing I gotta dial in is it just honestly the spot and it's a random catch, or is it the fact that it's a square bill that's silent that is key? If that is true, I've got a lot of options for that category. I actually really prefer silent square bills over larger ones, but that's 2 fish in the same hole sitting over 10 feet of water off of a bluff wall. Again, kind of textbook area. But that right there is a good start to the day. Wow. Maybe. It is the smallest fish ever. Yeah. Okay. That actually feels like a good fish. Holy shit, what is that? Is that a big one? Oh, it's just a strong largemouth. That's cool. I blinded him. That's why he wasn't fighting. I think he was blinded by the frickin' swim jig, so he didn't fight me. That's frickin' funny, dude. That's awesome. Alright guys, I'm gonna throw him in the net real quick because I want to get a measurement on him. He's a fat fish, man. That thing is incredible. It's a larger than average fish. I haven't caught a fish on a swim jig in a while, but what we're doing here, which is another thing that I wanted to try to find, you know, the key is, you know, making this place work for me. You know, I'm not going to be able to always adjust everything I do for the lake. I still have my specific style of fishing, right? So I found a shallow flat. We're in about, I don't know, 5 to 6 feet of water, submergent grass, and I'm rocking a swim jig, black blue swim jig. It's the one I've been using all year. It's actually literally the one that's been tied on for quite a few fishing trips at this point. And that fish kind of smoked it. Like, he hit it hard to the point where I thought he was a lot bigger than he actually is. But that fish right there is another 14 1/4. We'll call it, conservatively, we'll call it 14 1/4. Another decent, chunky, got a little belly on him, largemouth. So I have actually decided how we're going to determine whether or not a series is completed or successful. We're going to call it with 3 70-inch 5-fish limits. If I can come to a lake on 3 different days, entirely different days, and catch 70 inches, that's going to be how I determine if a lake is consistently beaten enough to have it be, you know, a successful series. And the reason why I say successful series is that I'm actually thinking about extending this to some other lakes, creating a breaking series for multiple lakes here in Vermont. I do have some other lakes that I specifically don't fish, either due to heavy boat traffic or just had no success there in the past. And this might be something that I continue across a few different lakes each season. You know, I'll do one series, and then once I complete a lake, I'll move on to another lake. So if that's something that interests you guys, put it down in the show notes, because it's something that I have fun making. And if you guys are interested in watching it, I'd be really, really happy to make, you know, a bunch of different lake breakdown series like this Breaking Bomo series. Overall though, guys, I'm working my way down that same shoreline that I was talking about. We're about probably halfway down zone 3. I'm gonna show you guys what area I've covered so far. We'll show a graphic up here. And I've gotten 3 fish so far. I don't know the total because I haven't done the math yet, but I have two 14 1/4 and that 19 1/4. So almost a 5-fish limit at this point. And we're working a swim jig through the column. We're having some really good success so far with moving baits. I have not really had a lot of hits on the finesse, and what hits I have been small. And it makes me wonder if that may have been my issue the whole time with this lake, is that I was spending too much time trying to finesse and not enough time trying to power fish. So we're gonna keep working our way down through this 6-foot section, shallow water. The grass is starting to thin out, so I might switch things back up and go back to that square bill lipless type of pattern. The reason I went with the swim jig is because the grass was getting so thick that I was constantly having to battle and pull, you know, seaweed out of the treble hooks, and I didn't want to deal with it. But if it stays thinned out right here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna start working some more loud baits too. Maybe throw in some rattle square bills just to see if it was the silent, the profile, just get an idea, a little bit more information. Like I said, guys, I've covered about half of zone 3 already. It's only been a few hours. This is a smaller zone. I specifically chose this zone because I intend on going to a different lake today actually and fishing a second time, because it's getting to the end of the year, and those of you from the north, you know that we all kind of fish on a clock this time of year. Once you get to about mid-September, beginning of October, you really are starting to think about, you know, how can you maximize how much fishing you do and how many different times can you go fishing before it gets too damn cold and you're not able to catch any fish. So I may end up hitting a second lake today, so be on the lookout for that video as well. But yeah, guys, halfway through zone 3, and so far this is the most successful zone.
One eternity later.
You know, from condition standpoint, this should have been the busiest and craziest day of fishing that I've had so far. The weather is almost perfect. It's nice, it's not too hot, not too cold, and I'm able to just kind of roll around, just enough chop on the water to allow reaction to be good, but it really hasn't been representative in the fishing. So I've caught a few fish, as you guys just saw in that little montage. We did a lap around the island. What I did find with the island is that this section right here, I'll show you guys on the map, this little portion right here, it is a shallow grass flat between the 2 chunks of land. So you got the island in the middle and that little point, and there is a grass flat through there. It's about 12 to 14 feet of water at the deepest, sometimes getting all the way as shallow as like 5 to 6 feet. submergent grass, perfect area to fish like a swim jig. If the grass thins out a little bit, you know, early season or when it starts to die off in the fall, I feel like you could work a chatterbait through there, maybe a shallow diving like square bill kind of thing like that. Looks like to me, based on the bottom contour, it's definitely an area that you're going to want to run some sort of moving bait through. And then I worked my way around the island, kind of dink and dunking, doing a little bit of finesse fishing, and didn't catch anything. So then I worked back around the opposite side of the island, threw a lipless for a little bit, did hook up with the first smallmouth of the day. But to be honest, wow, that's a big hit. That is a bigger fish, guys. Hold on. Let me get this one in the boat first. That's a decent fish right there. As I was saying, did hook up with a smallmouth, but it was a very, very small smallmouth. So not anything super special. So we came back down through the grass flat, and clearly that was the move, because we got ourselves another good quality largemouth. This one right here is a perfect example of what us kayakers call a kayak fish versus a, you know, weighted tournament. And you'll see what I mean in just a second, but this fish is super long and skinny. But for kayaks, that is the perfect tournament fish. For a bass boat guy, he'd probably be pretty disappointed to catch this fish. Well, let's get him on the measuring board and see where he shows up at. This thing is super long, man. I've never seen such a long largemouth. It's crazy how long this fish is. That is a, we'll say 15 3/4 largemouth, but he is skinny, guys. Look at that fish. So skinny, but super long. But that right there is the next fish on the list. So that, I'm actually gonna get the numbers for you right now. On the day, let's do, that's the third fish that we're gonna score. 15. So that gives me a 48-inch limit so far. I did have one fish that I forgot to talk about earlier that came in at 12. So we're looking at a 60.75-inch bag right now. And that is where we're at with 4 fish. We're gonna need one legal fish would actually get me as a completed day of, you know, our goal of 70 inches. So we're gonna keep working our way down through, see if we can upsize that bite. And yeah, we might be able to have the first successful day on this body of water. All right, guys, it has been a long day on the water. I got here at 8 o'clock. It's now 3:21, so I spent quite a bit of time out here. Fished all of zone 3, actually went down and back, so kind of double fished it. Ended up fishing across zone 1, only managed to catch a single perch, nothing interesting at all. And now we're heading back to the boat ramp. So today was total of 60.75 inches. Definitely the best total to date from the 3 events. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to put up a chart right here. So the first event I got 0. Second event I actually don't know the score. I want to say it was, I have no idea. I'll have to put it up here for you guys. Third event is this 60-inch total. So I did not hit my 70 goal. So this does not count as one of the 3 to complete the series. But I am going to continuously update as I catch more fish, you know, my single day best total for each zone. I'm going to definitely have that included in the map at the end of each video. And we're going to keep going until we get a 3 set of 70 inches. I want to thank you guys for coming along with me. I really appreciate you taking time to watch this video. If you guys do like this content, if you're liking this special kind of series where I'm really getting more in depth, more scientific with everything, please put that down in the comments. Let me know, because I will definitely continue to make more content like this. Again, thank you guys for watching this video. If you haven't already, hit that like, hit that subscribe, and as always, let's get out there, catch more fish.